Welcome to my channel. The monster stood in the center of the ring, breathing through his nose. His chest rising with calm purpose, not fatigue. Across from him, the Filipino Flash was on one knee, dazed but noble. A man of war, of pride, of heart, but also of years. He pushed himself up again. He always does. But the referee had seen enough. Michael Griffin looked into the eyes of Donaire, and what he saw was not fear, but emptiness. A split second where time caught up to greatness. The hands that once carried the weight of 5 divisions now trembled. The legs that once danced in title fights across continents no longer held the same spring. And so he made the call. Fight over. No 10 count. No extra minute. Just mercy, swift and necessary. And with that single wave of a hand, history shifted. The crowd rose to their feet. Not in celebration. Not yet. It was something else. Reverence. They had just witnessed the end of a chapter. A living legend had just been bested not by time, but by another legend in the making. Naoya Inoue, face glistening with sweat, gloves still clenched, turned toward his corner. No smile. No outburst. This was not a victory of ego. It was a fulfillment of expectation. It was the cold execution of a promise, to become the best bantamweight on earth. His trainer wrapped a towel around his shoulders. His team began the quiet celebration. They had prepared for everything. War, resistance, another epic 12-round chess match. What they got was total domination in under 6 minutes. Even they were stunned by how quickly it was over. Nonito Donaire, meanwhile, stood upright, alone for a moment in the center of the ring. He looked around, blinking at the sea of lights and faces. There was no shame on his face. Only peace. Perhaps, deep down, he knew this night was coming. Maybe he had accepted it before the first bell rang. The crowd, mostly Japanese, fiercely loyal to Inoue, began to chant. But not just for their champion. They chanted for Donaire too. For his courage. For his class. For what he had given them in that ring years ago. 2 warriors, once equals. Now one moves forward and the other, perhaps, toward the final bell of a glorious career. The official announcement came. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a time of 1 minute 24 seconds in round number 2. Your winner by way of technical knockout. Still undefeated. The WBC, WBA, and IBF Unified Bantamweight Champion of the world. Naoya, the monster Inoue. The crowd erupted. Inoue raised his gloves briefly, then lowered them. Even in triumph, he remained stoic, almost reflective. He looked over at Donaire and gave a respectful bow. This was not just about belts. It was about respect. Warrior to warrior, fighter to fighter. In the post-fight interview, Inoue spoke softly, humbly, through an interpreter. Nonito is a legend. It was an honor to share the ring with him again. He's strong. He's brave. But tonight was my night. When asked about what comes next, his answer was simple. Undisputed. 1 belt remained. Name. Paul Butler. A final piece of the puzzle. But even before that fight would come to pass, the world already knew. Naoya Inoue was something different. He didn't just win. He transcended. He stood now as perhaps the most fearsome pound-for-pound fighter in boxing. Not just at bantamweight. Anywhere. In the dressing room afterward, Nonito Donaire sat with his gloves off. His hands wrapped still, his gaze low. Rachel sat beside him, silent. There was no crying. No regret. Just reflection. Perhaps the kind only great champions feel. The knowledge that they gave it all, and sometimes even all isn't enough. He would later say, I didn't lose to just anyone. I lost to a generational fighter. To a future all-time great. And I'm proud of the way I stood in front of him. Came to fight. I leave with my head high. And he did. Because some losses carry more meaning than many wins. Inoue, now holding 3 of the 4 major world titles, left the arena with little fanfare. No parade. No fireworks. Just quiet. Composure. Focus already shifted to the future. Because the monster is not finished. And maybe, just maybe, boxing isn't either. Because on this night in Saitama, fans didn't just see a knockout. They witnessed a legend bow out with grace. They witnessed a star ascend to his final form. They witnessed boxing at its purest. A passing of the torch. A night the sport will never forget. Subscribe my channel and press the bell icon for more update.